Okay. All right. Okay. I don't dance. No way. Super Rash. Ronald Love. The date is 3/14/2019. I got. I just got disapproved for my disability, and it's because they told me once again that there's nothing wrong with me. And I've been telling everybody, my lawyers, my lawyer, I told my lawyer, I told the doctors that I've spoken to that I speak to aliens, that I'm telekinetic and I speak to spirits, and they still talk to me and whatnot, and they still tell me to fill out a disability paper just to get that check, and like I said, ever since I went out on my journey, that people aren't gonna believe me because I'm too functional. I don't look dysfunctional. I don't look like I can't apprehend situations, that I can't accomplish things. I don't look like an unfunctional, disabled person, which I'm not anywhere close to being disabled. When I received that paper, my ancestors looked at me and like, after everything we've been talking about this whole time, you got your letter back and you still want to check for being disabled? I'm like, it's a free check, and they trying to say I'm disabled. That's all I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not. It's like, it's incredible to even fathom that right now. But it feels good out here. It's San Diego, California. 28 years old. This is This is the information I'm finding out is extremely magnificent. But as I've continued to go into depth with this, with the information of um, true science, alchemy, hermeticism, and harmonism, the laws of attraction, scientifically, physically, spiritually, and all aspects of the universe. A lot has been revealed to me through 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 the etymology of to words of words, and to the particles of scientific, physical, um, structures, like actual energy has been revealed to me through just through the re-understanding of the language and science itself. Is really starting to reveal itself to me. But I want to start out, seeing that I just got done talking about the disability check, is that when another portion, I'm gonna speak upon multiple scenarios in which I went through, maybe just two for right now. Like I said, I went through like a dimension in which they had a scientific equation, an algorithm, if such. It's a formula for science to put me in a portal or a dimension in which they were able to get people's emotions to attract towards anything that would represent sin in my spirit, or anything that I would perhaps self emanate, that I myself would believe would be descending or condescending in my being, and it would be attracted to the equation itself. And with that being said, as those as that happened, they were able to get people, get all types of organisms, people, places, things, and plants to look intimidating, intimately, intuitionally, meaning intimidating, was able to connect that energy with my energy and not reverse them, but vert them in a way in which we would relay information according to my energetic subconscious relays through my thoughts, in which I would be emanating out into space energetically for those organisms and energies to relay back to me a certain characteristic that if I didn't have in tune or fixed, they would intuitively act appropriately politically in that situation, orgasmically, organically. They would act in that situation. They would just act naturally. You know what I'm saying? But that's only if I didn't know the truth about. That's only if I didn't know the truth about certain things, certain situations, and as well as if I didn't answer questions according to what the aliens wanted me to answer to, or spirits wanted to answer to in front of certain beings or organisms or certain types. And they would do vice versa for those organisms, just to teach them certain things, so I can learn from those organisms, and vice versa for me, which allowed us to all be great parts of that teaching practice. I found out that this isn't complicated. That this knowledge, they also mentioned to me, just to reiterate that, they also told me that it took them a while to understand this sacred knowledge, but once they understood it, it was as simple as night and day. They said it was real simple once they understood it. It was almost right in front of them. Actually, they said it was in front of them when they understood it. Okay, now I went through that, and that was a practice in which they were able to project in a technique that was technologically used through mechanics, that they were able to do through mechanics, or uh, uh, mechanics through elements, or mechanics through their telekinesis. Now, I can explain this right now. As I'm continuously healing, as I am still healing myself, my telekinesis, my psychic ability, my senses are sharp, like they went past my average sensory bar when it comes to my natural way of sensing things. Like, I'm actually literally having conversations through vibrations between people on a regular basis in crowds. And it hasn't fully recepted yet, but what I'm starting to depict is that, as it is true that we are all frequencies and vibrations and electronical beings, as electronical beings, digital beings, particleized beings, as there were saber-toothed tigers, people big as King Kong, aliens in outer space, mammoths, dinosaurs, as the conductivity of electricity could range just as far as as everything is electricity around us. It's in constant vibrancy. It's in constant radiation. I apologize. The term is current. The term is current, and current is a terminology for a wavelength of electricity. This is this is this is the in depth of the English language. Actually, is English. It's that's going in another direction. But Orisha is I wish, and as you're in a woman is I wish, and is, and she grants your wish, and you're granting her wish by putting Orishas in her, and she's granting your wish because you're Orisha, your Holy Trinity. But those those metaphors are once again metaphors for geography, uh, bioelectric geography. Once again, the terminology is current for the English language. This is electronical. This is an electronical wavelength of current, as well as I want to interject this information. The term currency also comes from the term current, as in present. This is the depiction terminologically for the term current as an electronical wavelength, and current meaning speaking scientifically about the the present action of nature in reality in the still setting. They called it current because it's electronical, but everything is always moving, so they called it current. Now this is what makes this a little. This is what makes this a little interesting. Now, tell me if these words are really frequented, no, if these letters and numbers are really frequented vibrational equations stacked on top of each other from 0 to 1, from the Greek language through any language, not only for human beings, but throughout the whole entire universe. Our terminology is not technically as in associated to, but technically, like technically, another another electronical way, geometrically, mathematically, frequently, and solsticeally, how we communicate entirely with our astrological beings. This goes for every single last language, hieroglyphs out there. Plants even do it. They communicate through their vibrations, or they communicate through their vibrations with one another via the shape in which they're in, and they communicate with us and other animals due to their designs as well. Elements do the same thing. They vibrate towards one another due to the inner and outer areas, elements entirely. It's so intricate in this English language that you flip over these words, these letters, these numbers, and you're going to get units of sounds. You're going to get units of measurements in geographical formula equations. You're going to get the same thing in representations of our anatomy, biology, in every single last forms of measurements known to the universe, to man, but they might not entirely include. They're not including every single last particle throughout the universe. This we know, but symmetrically, they're taking account for all things 360 degrees, which is really 888. It's because it's phonet is no. Let me back it up. So it's really zero. They account for it is because of the number zero, and they symmetrically account for everything geographically. No, numeric, numeric, numerically, numerically, scientifically, they account for all of it symmetrically by the circle, which is 360 degrees. But the three backwards will account for the three frontwards, which will make the 8 and the 6 flipped upside down, as well as backwards, will make two more 8s. You just need to flip it upside down. You make another 8, and you can do the same thing with a 3. You can do the same thing with the 0, and you'll get another 8. And then this is constant. This is another formulation of our DNA strands. Now, what's getting me is that this in-depth information is so in-depth and so intuitive that it represents the ability to be astrologically coherent with the rest of the universe. I'm serious. Whoever wrote the English language, no. Whoever 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 made numbers knows. Whoever made English numbers knows. The coherency of how vast life is out in outer space. Now, the reason why I didn't speak during that pause is because I was about to go into the thought process of being institutionalized and saying they know, but you don't have to necessarily know the in-depth truth in order to carry out these operations. Some people do it, some people know when they do it, and some people don't. But very few actually know. They're just carrying it out. So, but what I'm trying to tell you is that I had this theory when I was a child, growing up. I used to peep game. I used to watch people and study my environment very closely. Because as a child, I opened my eyes at the age of 5, and I looked around and I was like, I don't see how people don't get it. I've said this before. I said I don't see how people don't get, pollution is wrong. I don't see how people don't get, science that's so much fun and so easy to learn. What I'm about to say is really gonna open people's eyes, or whoever watches this, and hopefully they get it. But that's the thing I'm talking about, telekinesis. Like that person just turned the corner, just for an example. And of course, I heard the car turn. I'm not astonished. Astonished as in the splash of the water of our mental, our mystery, our menstrual water. Hence, menstruating, menstrual. Not particularly astonished. I wasn't particularly astonished when they turned the corner. But as they turned the corner, I felt I felt their being's energy take note of me standing here. Literally. As they turned that corner, they kept me in mind. Not like personal and they going through it and all that, but they kept me in mind when they turned that corner to wonder what I was doing here. And it happened. And then I linked and I said, "Who is that? I'm sensing something. I think I hear somebody, or I'm just sensing something." And as that person was turning the corner, their actions in turning the corner reestablished my telekinesis by saying, "What you doing over there? I'm turning this corner. I'm busting a U-turn." And that's exactly what happened. My telekinesis hasn't has 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 come back just because I have been healing myself. Now it's a cliche nowadays, due to mass propaganda. People don't believe in like real health anymore. They don't. A lot of people don't remember their ancestral bloodlines telling them not to eat any animal, but to eat of the earth and only of the earth. No one recognizes any of these scriptures or these words or this old ancient storytelling. Nor can we even stop ourselves from eating things that are bad for us, but eating from nature itself, because people don't really know. By saying that they're not educated is it puts them. They're already in a society that's judging them from a false faith. They're excelling to create heirs and descendants from false faith. You know, like they're already in a society that's that is making them believe that they're doing something already wrong from from the age of birth, due to them, institutionalizing their parents, and you going to school and you don't know left and right because they tell you what left and right is. They don't really teach you elements from an elementary standpoint. So people are really standoffish about any misinformation because they're already binded in a compound of information that was formulated to recede on itself over time. You know, the process is to kill you faster, but allowing you to live your life to make it seem like you did all these you did all these wrongs upon yourself, but you really don't know. This is why everybody always conversate and consult one another because everyone's always trying to find out the answers. But they put props around you like you're in the zoo to tell you these are all the answers that you need, but they don't really tell you the true truth because the term current and currencies actually come from all things, not dollar bills. So it's right in your face. They're telling you that they're telling you the truth, but they're really not. Um, so like people don't know that due to this food, due to you eating any food that you don't know that is good, like any food that is not grown naturally, that was a production of the earth intimately, entirely, is gonna lack it's gonna lack cellular structure, and it's gonna deprive your body. It's gonna keep out certain vitamins and minerals, and even deprive your body from substances that it needs. So you're losing oxygen, electricity, water, vitamins. Even if you take vitamins, your body's not gonna act the same way if you ate the right orange or the right apple or the right, watermelon, versus one without seeds and ones with seeds, and which those are the ones you need to eat are the ones with seeds. It's an in tune process that nature does over time and has done over time for us to have these natural foods and dialects, delectables for our body to harmoniously combine with for the sustenance of our continuation throughout generations of all of our lifetimes, in which they will call everlasting life because we will always continue to evolve. Now, check this out though. So, I had this theory when I was a child. I said, we grew up in a poor neighborhood. I just let him have that because he got one headlight in and he's speeding. So I keep hearing things creak. Somebody walking. I swear I heard something else creep though. I think something in this grass over here. Maybe a second. Now, yeah, I can still sense that. I can still sense a lot. So, like I spoke before, once I started to realize certain things, I don't actually, it's not only because of my health, it's because of the knowledge that clears, clears the energy waves and the energy levels being in harmony and balance with your spirit and with your intelligence will also strengthen the quality of your telekinesis to all things. You'll be able to hear your spirits better because you can understand them. You can decipher. You can decipher things as you understand nature more. You can understand things and how things operate, how things work. Thus, understanding yourself more, understanding the universe more, understanding people more, understanding your existence more. Thus, also strengthening the quality of who you are as well. People are really, they just created this energy around me, like whatever's creeping in this dirt. That's also what animals do. They psych you out, so you get scary. You get scared. You trip, and you fall, and the snake eats you and stuff. That's also a tactic. People do that. They throw you off your game. They throw snares out there. That's what I started realizing too. I was like, man, they just every single time people, tripping out there. Not everybody. They showing love, but people tripping out there, throw a snare out there. Oh, somebody snared up. Oh, okay. Let me sense because I don't. I hate life too. It's usually due to people not having confidence in their own life, and they're just using your life as a propulsion system. But if you don't have everything in check, and even if you don't have everything in check, at least you know, at least you keep your bill in harmony. You always have honor, always have honor and balance, and you will continue to live throughout all time because of your honor and your balance. Others will cease to exist, and they will be remade and reborn again for another chance. But for your honor, your bell and harmony of all things will live on forever because you stayed in harmony with the universe of all things. And we all heard you and we want you to live on. And you are granted that due to you vibrating and being whole with the love of who you are. You loved your life, literally. So you didn't need like XX you didn't need another other other you didn't have to break people down just to bring yourself up. You had humility. You had the inner workings to live your life in a harmonious way, and that's what grants you the gate to heaven is the wholesomeness of your vibration. But I just call like, man, they really created this hostile environment around me like in a matter of like 2 minutes of that animal trying to scare me in the bushes and people just whizzing past me. They just created this dark space like I'm outside, I'm blogging, oh somebody behind me and stuff. But you know what I'm saying? That's happened before and I ain't noticed it. But you know what I mean? But I've grown since then. Like I understand it a whole lot more. You know, these like once again I said like these are imitations, imit imidities. So they're just imitations. They're relays. You know, uh, ran back to me from how they really feel inside, and I have a foundation of those same emotions that hit me, and if okay, there's really something in the bushes. And if oh, it's something in the bushes though. But if I don't necessarily know myself or where I stand in my own mind, then those emotions and thoughts can pretty much do anything to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like whatever that is in the bush is trying to get a shot. But straight up, this is what's so crazy is that if what I just said to you is true, just like the old proverb is know yourself, and what you do at the end of your life is the helm of all of its all of your experience during this lifetime is to know yourself to the fullest, because when you get older, before you die, everybody everybody celebrates, everybody exhales, everybody is at awe when older people, how well older people know themselves. And you're like, man, I can't wait to go through all those experiences so I can know myself that well, because I have a lot of things that I'm going on, that I have going on, and I know it's gonna mold me to be great just like you one day, right? Now, if those proverbs and these hermetic and alchemic sciences were all speaking on knowing yourself, and that is in with your spirit naturally, and they found these all out and they started to teach that way societally throughout everything, everywhere they went, then why would why wouldn't that be a great teaching for our children today? Is to teach them everything they need to know about themselves, which is the universe, thus enabling them to combat any mental dysfunction, any institutionalized mental dysfunction, any dysfunctional mental institution known to man. Because you know yourself so well, of course you're growing, but we taught you all about the universe, thus allowing you to know yourself immensely, oh so well, that there's no way any institution could come upon you and say, you're dumb, you don't know this, you got this on this. It's like, what? That's not how you teach people. That's not how we should teach each other. And I know myself. You can't tell me, or even a number or anything can't tell me my value, because all I am doing is going through experiences and learning in this lifetime that I'm living right now. That isn't a discrepancy. That is just preeminated progress that I will experience in soon time. Actually, you can tell me what this means right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're a teacher. You have to teach me. You have to help me. And we're all different. We learn. We still have to go through our experiences throughout life. So my road isn't here. I must go somewhere in which I could learn thoroughly what this means, so I can be more mature in all aspects of this life that I am in deficit from, that I still have to experience so I can become enlightened. You know? So tell me, if we know all these things, tell me, if we know all these things to a T, and our health is in perfect standing, and I'm reading people telekinetically just as well as we were back then, if these people in these projects and ghettos and these people in these higher up neighborhoods were receiving these these foods, these processed foods with these chemicals in it, and eating meat. No, I don't want to just shut out. First of all, there had to be a time in which we were in which we were taught that it was okay to eat meat after we would have already known that it was not okay to eat meat. Now, I'm just going to note, but I'm going to keep it raw and natural. Dude, Dr. Sebi said, why would there be any need in Egypt for medicine if you never violated nature? Now, any our ancestors knew of alchemical, al, al, alchemical, alchemic ways of rejuvenation, curing certain bites, and they knew what gave you strength by what you ate, and what could give you more of something by things you ate, or things to make you more fertile, or so on and so forth, things to make you smarter. And there's also uh, it's a rumor, but it's actually true that there were, and it's not actually true, it's true because it's in your DNA and anatomy. No, it's in your DNA and it's in science. It's down to a science that the food is what got you intellectually here in the first place. So, as we continue to evolve, these supernatural, psychedelic, telekinetic foods would still exist. They would know all of these things to go out and pick them up, just in case they wanted to eat them, you know, or just it was a celebratory thing, so on and so forth. But it had to be a gap in which we were fed things, or we so happened to take on a certain bacteria or go against a certain adversary in which in which we were taught a certain historic ideal and fed certain foods in which we can no longer remember the history behind why we even ate certain animals or foods in the first place. Because once again, from any of our recollection, why is everybody around the world eating chickens, cows, and turkeys, and it's another one. It's another one. It's chickens, cows, and fish. Chicken, cows, and fish. And around the world, we're eating the same three types of animals. That means this cannot be true. That means this isn't our natural source of food. There's species all across. There's species of animals all across the world. Thousands, millions of species of different animals across the world, and we only consuming three of them. And people try different ones every once in a while just because they're eating meat. But this is the majority of where our diseases come from, because they're designed differently to take on different plants other than we are. They have different abilities to eat certain things that we do not uh, attain to. So we'll be attracted to the bacteria that they're attracted to, that they're able to handle, in which we wouldn't be if we ate certain things, in which they do, that protect them from these bacteria that they encounter and they evolve with to help us combat throughout our ecosystem. We all have a job that happens naturally. It's when things get out of violation is when we obtain certain deficits, like today. Because before 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 certain civilizations, there were no diseases. There's no there's no regulation of any diseases other than bacteria, other than contagious or it's a rat, it's a mouse. Other than and also like um, I'm starting to see that animals are psychic too. You know, of course they are. So is plants. You know, actually plants kind of like off base. Actually, all things do because you see an alien with them oval eyes. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? But they emanate like reality, like psycho reality. They really do. Naturally, what our brain probably is doing is what plants look like. You know, a splash. But I'm still grown. I still got to learn how to flow and be elegant. But what I'm saying is that how is this, if I'm coming to, and the rumor was that we were telekinetic back then, that means there's a gap in between we were fed and institutionalized and cut off from a generation of history that we are completely closed eyes to and stuck in stables like apartment houses and buildings and away from the universal knowledge of all and excited invertibly upon ourselves in sin, in natural sin, in which we don't know that we're doing because we think we're just experiencing life. We're just experiencing, life. We're just growing up. We're not really intuitively looking inside of us unless we choose to do it. But we still, are granted these experiences because that's how life works. We're still experiencing, uh, we're still growing. So it feels natural that we have to go through a certain trial to overcome certain things because that's in our DNA. It's a trial and error to gain certain substances here, so we could evolve ourselves from our past tribulations, our past uh, obstacles, to make our genes tougher, and that's what we do naturally. You know, we do that naturally anyway. So some of us won't even intuitively like look deep inside of ourselves in depth, in which we all need to do, but not everybody's on the same path, but it's a different path. We all are on the same path. We're all on, you know, a path of inner finding. What is it? Inner growth. We're all on the same path, but in, but we now have this stigma due to us not knowing where our beginnings and our origins lie, which is honor and balance. We now have this stigma into believing that no one can tell us anything due to television programming and microwave and, and television programming and and in the segregation of all things. Now, from that note, I want to continue on with what I was saying about. I had this theory when I was a child. I said, like, yo, I ain't got no money, but I took a look at people in, I took a look at people in music. I took a look at people in music. I took a look at people in sports. and I took a look at people who excelled without school, who dropped out of school and excelled. I looked at phenomenons, and I looked at aliens, and I looked at things in nature, and I said, how come people can rate people's attractiveness by the type of grades that they get or the amount of money that they have? It's more in depth. It's more intuitive than that. But first, how do you sense people have money? Is it by it's not by their looks. It's that you're sensing in their mind. And some people be like, I can tell. I can just tell. You're sensing telekinetically in their mind that people have money. You sensing in their mind that people are smart. Like, I don't have a dollar to my. I have money. I have some change, but it's they're like little breadcrumbs. I became radiant from the balance and honor of the universe, of my ancestors' words, to going back to the dirt know how of all things to bring honor back to modern day times because people needed help. Now, see, that was a telekinetic interaction in which we have. See, it's not that I'm crazy, it's that I was intuitive enough to take these steps so that I could thoroughly understand the world around me during a time in which we are all being deceived. Now I know how everything around me works, and I know for a fact that we are telekinetic. That is a telekinetic interaction. They still have me in mind. They just made a U-turn. They just stopped thinking about me. Now this person's coming down the street and he's scanning the street. He saw me and now he's passing me, but my eyes are following him. But it's really the electricity of the magnetism in which we're attracting each other. We probably can hear pretty far. In which the aliens have told me that some of them can actually hear the ends of the universe, and people communicate like that. This is, you got some cartoons that they teleport planet to planet just by, you know, mediating, immediately, immediating, meditating. These words are in depth technicals. Just just to put in case in point how old this planet is, how old, how we've been here, how our DNA, how our origins originate from the beginning of all time. And it's also been said that this type of society hasn't been the first time that this happened. It's happened in a different way, but there's been battles between man and nature once before, and nature is always one because man is nature, and we are one with it. We prosper and we live the greatest lives in harmony with all things, not against things. Sportsmen like being sporty, being having a fellowship in competition is salute, is bless you, is honor, is honorable to show our creativity and win over a woman or you know a a a gambit of tests between fellow men or fellow women is honor. It's still honor because we're just exhibiting our genesis. We're just exhibiting our elements. We're exhibiting our creativity, our expressiveness. But check this out. So tell me, I forgot where I left off. But tell me, okay, so the world is this old, this and that. Tell me it's still a lot. But I'm just gonna say what's on the top of my mind. Okay. I was exhibiting. I was starting to understand. I started to realize that money wasn't the reason why people gravitated towards people. I used to walk in the mall, and I used to walk in the mall. This isn't the only time. There's different, just how engineers and people have different artistic abilities, whether they're foundatively similar or not. Everybody's drawings are 100% different, or at least off by a molecule. In some type of way, things are still different. So there's an endless possibility, an endless possible way to also receive this information that I'm telling you, but to for energies to compound with one another. I'll explain that right now. Tell me what a corporation is. It is the terminology of corporation is a cooperation, not necessarily business in terms of a structure in a country that is official, but it is of face Shial, Shial as in a cellular dialysis of a facial idea that conducts, gravitates electronically, digitally, business, which is natural verbiage for action in a cooperation of elements in order to produce from those operations like trees or plants or even ourselves through reproductions to produce products to receive a profit to emanate a profit in meaning. The in-depthness of that meaning is trees are profits. They professionally fit in nature. You can't see society in this imminence of our natural settings without trees. We know what rose petals is, we know what people are, we know what animals are. People, animals, places, things became profits through the equations and cooperations of the elements of the universe incorporated empirically through stories throughout all time to become professionally fit in our real film reality. That is a substance of now. T. Ality. They became prophets. We all became prophets. I came from the DNA from my father and his structural structural breakdown of his mind of information into my mother in her collapses no not her collaboration of collapses of layers and stories that built me binarily through binarily in her womb through the information that she soaked up over time in her egg in reverted back into her egg in her menstruating juices that built me that 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 dialed me up phonetically, nigga. Nymphos, niggas. Nymphos is fabrications, making fabrications. Niggas is phonetic for making those fabrications. But nigga, the word nigga come out of nowhere, and it's so the term is so grasping, but we see it as a negative connotation, but no one really knows what the term comes from. But it's legendary in our ancestral past, the word Niger and Nigeria, Nigeria. You know, the synopsis of not. I don't want to put it in a negative term, but I mean synopsis in like a like a notorious is being echoed through our ancestral uh, bloodline, throughout all of our bloodlines, throughout all of our bloodlines, but we're not heeding the actual terminology for it. It's not racial at all. It's scientific. No one wants to grasp onto it because we're out of harmony with one another. Now we're at arm's width, and we got the gun busting at each other's heads. So we can't learn from one another to cipher this whole thing up and just round it all about once again and just point at the real problem, so we can all get out of this problem. So we can all get out of this this labyrinth, and it's real simple. Now, we can learn from each other, and we just throw all the rest of that stuff out the window because it's we really family. Like, we more family than anything. Everybody is, you know. Now, reason why black people became so great during this time is because we had to. It's so much amplitude that needs to be had, and it's such a need to be creative in such dark time, in such a clouded time, that people have to emanate this creative nature just to keep things somber, uh, keep things safe and healthy. We're just doing our jobs just like everybody else is. But we're always trying to bring people back with that foundation, that platform. We're always trying to bring people back. We're like, this is, this for everybody. It's all love. Every single time you always see us doing it. But it all stems from our origins. We're just using our natural ability to attract people, to really tell people what it really is. We just gotta, we all have to come together. But check it. So, so I used to look. I used to be like, I got an hour and 4 minutes on here. Yo, I used to, I forgot. It's no, actually, I didn't forget. It's so many different ways that I used to see women still being attracted by all kinds of men and boys, and men and young men still emanating these desirable and ambitious characteristics without any money at all, as well as looking back at as well as myself looking back at ancient cultures in which they didn't use money even as well as looking back at ancient cultures in which they didn't use money at all either. But you have certain organizations that are telling us that people like Mansa Musa and the black men that bankrupt um, all of Europe, which black people were in as well, and just organizations that are trying to help black people. Just for a side note, when you don't, just for a side note, it's it's a blessing that we have people out there that's bringing forth this information. But if you only tell people half truths just to help them out, you're you're not half truths. If you're being truthful just to give people confidence, make sure you coordinate this. Make sure you coordinate that information so there's a positive intuition on the people that they're having problems objectifying in the first place. Because throughout a world's view, certain organizations have targeted the hue of a certain genotype, which would be, you know, a a brown skinned person. But what you're telling people is that what certain organizations like Hidden Colors and the people that came out of those that have stemmed out uh, that have stemmed out mediarily from those organizations that black people are superior than other generations, uh, genes because we were here first, and we have a certain carbon dating that goes beyond that. When that isn't entirely true, that only puts that telekinetic metaphysical population out into the world of objectification. That was interesting because I turned around and I felt his energy. He didn't even reach the street to see me first, so that must mean that the energy had turned me around from him with my along with my thought process for some particular reason for him to keep going forward and not see me. I mean, not necessarily not see me, but um, for a certain reason, just like how storms create rain for plants for a great reason, for a particular reason. Um, things must happen the same way with our telekinesis through the sequences of energies. But that kind of thought process intrigued me to actually being energetically manipulated by dollar bills, um, by a lot of things actually, more than dollar bills, but um, anybody that knew how to manufacture people's auras and energies, just like I said, I was manipulated by aliens. People like secret organizations might know how to do the same. You can talk to people's frequencies, feel radio waves. You can even hear thoughts through radio waves. You know, but um, get music from magnets. It's crazy how we can just emanate and relay sounds from just magnets. You wouldn't even know those things are in your beats. Your beat headphones. Everybody just got a magnet up in there. Ain't no different from sound. You probably get better quality, but really it's just a magnet. But they do work hard still. You still can add applications to it. So I apologize for that. still, I mean, but you know, but like I was saying before, you don't you don't process and give out information within an objectifying community by uh, as you to give those who are being objectified confidence in terms of them in terms of them being superior than their objectifiers, because now they're emanating a distaste, because a distaste for the environment around them, instead of them being more educated on the universal truth in which we are all unified, we are all the universe, and we are all one. We are all nature, and we all need to be one with each other. We need to all be taught who we are. So if it was a hidden colors, it should have been a hidden colors for everybody. That would have been the dopest hidden colors ever. It would have had the hidden colors of the Hindi with, like, I love Indian elephants. I love the story of the Indian elephants. That was one of the people, one of the ancient ancestors that actually helped me when I made this jail was the elephant man from India. He was a man from India, and I saw the whole thing. The ancestors came back and they helped me and they relieved me from these alien beings that was tripping on me. My ancestors helped me back, and we were of all colors. Every single last one of them. There was white people. They were really in tune with the sounds and lightning. Um, there were black people. Hold on. That were Africoid. Of course, they were real chocolate up. There was Latino people. There was the Mayas and the Aztecs. It was real dope people. That would have been the hidden colors that black people would have needed to know, and that would have stemmed throughout all society, because we would be opening up the eyes of every ancestral bloodline in existence, and it would have corresponded with our geographical settings between all of us, and it would have all set us back in with each other. That would have revolutionized the game right there. But now you have everybody. I was somewhat in it too, but I still understood the Eve gene in a black woman. I still understood that, but I did not leave out the fact that we would still be one in this entirety. I still understood the carbon dating aspect of it, but I still understood the aspect of being one and having honor in being one with all things. I still understood that, and I never wanted to leave that out from any of our people, and that is of all kinds. Now, even that would still be wrong because of the sciences of nature doesn't exactly exhibit one color, not even in terms of skin. It doesn't evolve. It doesn't involve just one pressure. It doesn't involve one temperature. It doesn't involve the lack of the possibility of multiple things being flourished at one time during the same time, so to speak. And that's speaking beyond a certain time in which we could in which we're actually taking account for. And I just felt a drawback of immense energy just swallowing me up because of the relay of information that I used to go over. So I'm admitting that I used to kind of believe in that, but I still had that in mind. But I'm gonna have to say now that there was beings, there's plenty of beings that came before us that could have been a multitude of colors. Like black is a rendition is actually a rendition of green. You know, white is a rendition of like pink. You know what I'm saying? Or really bright light, or even black. You know, so we have brown, like Indian browns are like renditions of orange. You know, you see their gods and deities. They have like uh, orange people and stuff like that. Like Chinese people got scaly people or red and different colors. Like all our deities are all different colors. Of course, black would be able to change a multitude of colors, but they would have their spectrum of colors, a color wheel as well. You know what I'm saying? So we all abide by the same laws of 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 of, of all nature. We all consist of a reptilian cerebral brain, in which is able to metamorphosize itself, change colors. So that would just once again speak upon the origins of our actual beings and what we will actually be able to emanate at such a genetic time, such a generic time. So yeah, we probably a lot of us probably process at a very exact time, if not at the same time, you know. And if they're saying that we're carbon dated further back than certain people, then that would be incorrect as well. Just to recorrect myself, that would be incorrect as well. How? Because that would tell that if they did come from us, they would still have the same amount of carbon dating. It would just have evolution now is past that, but that that sequence would still lie within them. So that makes absolutely no sense. That's why you also gotta watch these official testings, these official uh, diagnoses or whatever. These people that's running these these this information because it's, that makes no sense at all. That you're not picking up those sequences in other things other than the people that you're deeming is the uh, the carbonating or organic origins in which the carbonated origins in which we come from is no, in which you're speculating that our carbonating comes before people, but the sequence doesn't is not relayed in the people who come from, so to speak, come from us and relayed after it. The sequence isn't there. That means they didn't come from us then. You know what I'm saying? And that means they would have to come after us, but we would still have to hold us the same a sequence in our relays to speak upon who we would be as species, as human beings. But the notes also the notes also recedes back to everybody coming from us though. So if they came from us, then that sequence would still be in them as well as that relay of our species. So they would still be the date was still the carbon dating would still lie within their DNA from our DNA, and they would have the natural foundation real DNA of what kind of species we would be according to um, Yeah, yeah. What kind of species we would be? So there's so so whether they came from us or it's either they came from us and they're telling us that they don't have the sequence, or the people that are saying that they came from the people on our side is saying that they came from us, and they don't, or the people that's saying that they came from us that are on our side that are trying to give us confidence, trying to say that maligning is the beginning, is saying that they are less superior because they don't they no longer have that particular gene, but they are without the carbon dated sequences of that that maligning structure, which would remain in them whether they leave from our bodies or not. They still have that. They still have that fingerprint, that print, that biological thumbprint in their DNA from us. It would still be there. That means both of y'all are wrong, and we all would have came here at the same time due to our geographical means, and or we would all came from the same person or people, and we would still have that genetic makeup in all of our DNAs, and we will all just be compounded over time through the elements in which we grew up in, and we will all have honor in those in that very aspect in which all of our ancestors did, and we would salute that. We wouldn't leave any one of us out. So it is completely wrong to teach people to be objectifying to people in a society in which we're being objectified to. No, in which we are being objectified from. That creates even a more hostile environment. I don't know what that was. Oh, it was raining. That creates even a more hostile environment of misinformation on people that really need a profit, an actual a necessity of real information, not misinformation. Now they're going out there and they're saying which bad nothing. They're looking at people like they crazy and they talking about, you know, Caucasian people are savages and stuff. Like, you talking about your brothers. You talking about your brothers. You talking about your sisters. You talking about girls you still looking at as a bomb. Still looking at men that you think is pretty cool. And, you know, people that we all admire that we are still in a cohabitation with on a frequent basis of all kinds. It really created the wrong environment for us. And we were really looking for sustenance from these so-called educated people, which are educated no matter how many degrees you have. Education doesn't necessarily rely on schools or institutions. It's a matter of, of, of martial intellect, is real education, real enlightenment, real wisdom. You know, that wasn't too wise, I believe. I mean, it's not a belief, it's an actuality. You know, a war best won is a war with no fighting at all. You can suffocate this whole game by teaching everybody the truth about who we all are, what foods we're really supposed to eat, and the sciences of the universe. All it's going to take us to do is to go back out into wherever we want to go, know this knowledge from firsthand, free energy, heal our bodies naturally, seeds, and protect ourselves with the sciences of our ancestors of the universe in which we were retaught. And that's just protection. They're not even gonna bust a blow. That's real intuitive, in-depth wisdom. That's real intellect. That's real strength. That's real balance. We're not gonna have to do anything then. But those type of things created a hostile environment even more. So now after we just received some more of our leaders, now we're having even a more problem trusting people. You know what I'm saying? Um, Once again, it's not only on this side, but it's on our side too. But we're still growing and we're still experiencing. We're learning from our mistakes, and we know who to trust. Dr. Sebi was a win. Zion win. All people are wins. We got to realize these things. I used to, just to continue on, I apologize, but just to continue on is that I used to also look at celebrities, and I used to look at my being. This is how I used to look at my being because I knew my art was pretty good, and I used to think I was like, I'm a regular person now. I was like, but I'm not starstruck by people. I'm not. Who did I think? I was like, if I saw like a certain person, I'd probably be like, man, that's crazy. But I wouldn't be like, because I taught myself with a certain morale to be a man of value and sustenance and like real, real sustenance, like real fulfillment. So I was very humble, and I gave gratitude. And, I gave salute blessings when blessings was done. So if you did something really incredible, then you would deserve it. You know, um, that goes scientifically for everything. You know, once you generate over a certain amount of time through processes that really curate a product of real intricate dialect in working towards an all inspiring harmonious product, you created profit, a professional fit in reality for yourself and for everything to radiate towards, to everything to emanate towards, to everything to 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 attract towards. You've created an entertainment from your creativity, from your soul, from your solstice. You've created these things so which is entertainment, so people can gravitate towards, and it has become a profit. This is an alchemic terminology. It's profit. You have banks, which are is a technological term for conductors. Conductors are banks because conductors are things that take in currency and they hold it there. And banks uh, push out currency if you have the right methods. This is also an explanation of of our economy, which is ecosystem, which is just an economy, econ of myself in the ecosystem that I live in. Now, just to speak upon in terms of war, if you are harmonious and balanced in your character, your attributes, and your knowledge, and all knowing, and you understand your spirit, you know that you can be waved by any aspects of the universe throughout all existence. Because once you know thyself and you understand all things, you then know that everything has principles. Everything has principles and boundaries. As an individual, you have principles and you have boundaries in which you emanate, and things in you you build these emanations, these entities. You build these entities over time, and you fortify these boundaries and principles over time through experiences. There's word plays in these, as you can see as well. Over time, you understand these things, and once you really understand the saluteness of what it really means to have balance, this is what you will hear in every guru's word, every wise man's word. And knowing himself, he knows, or she knows, or every organism knows his terrain and his principles. But he understands the value of character and growth and prosperity and unity and togetherness and evolution and being one with all things and being the best being that he could possibly be to the best of his ability, and he will get there over time. That is what everything does. Over time it grows. It has no other choice. So you're obligated, you have an obligation by universal real, reality realty nature to experience things and grow. But if you choose to get out of those lanes, you then become receptive to every relay that is passing you and passing through you. This, by terms of warfare, is no man's land. Now you have the properties, and everything around you have the properties to grow as far as wide as you possibly want to, and to be as big as you possibly want to, God willing that you survive and you prosper and you come to your senses and you grow as big and as great as you want to grow, greatly and in the right way. But if you choose to go out there and grow in the wrong way, all you're going to do is capture the wrong attention for the wrong things, and those type of things are going to gravitate around you, and you're going to be seen as a certain cancer, a certain everything is beautiful, but this is where you don't want to get swayed, but from seeing everything light and dark into seeing everything is beautiful, but you wanna you no not what you want. And once you really have a foundation in understanding yourself, you fully understand that there's a difference between things that are in out of harmony and things that made the choice and is making the choice to be a destructive natural substance in nature, not in terms of a a curator or a natural mixer like a tornado, a cyclone, or a hurricane, or not natural substances, the things that are innocent. Those things are innocent. That's an innocence. That's in a sense. Those are just in essence that are just abiding by nature naturally. So they're innocent. Those aren't things that I'm accounting for. I'm talking about things that are conscious to the actions that they're emanating. You're going to receive counteractions every single time. It is fundamental, universal nature that not only will you decease and go into a place fabrically, frequently, beyond all means, in a place that you do not want to go, but it is a place for you. And this is real talk, and it does exist. But you will be reborn in a new body without any recollection of that horrible lifetime. Maybe even some may have, actually, there may be some that do have a recollection of that horrible lifetime. Just to give you another chance, nature, we are merciful towards people that just didn't understand and that were stuck in that mindset, because those things are just mistakes. Those this is what allows like randomized mistakes to happen. That is what you will call a mistake, because you didn't understand the full on fulfillment of real life. You never really had the chance to, or you never believed in what was really waiting for you in real life, in the life that you were living. If you just turned a new leaf and lived it that way, you never knew what was waiting, what great things were waiting for you on the other side. So you just made a mistake. You just made a mistake, and you have to keep going forward. You have to keep doing these things. You have to keep trying to do better, because there are counterproductive. There are endless amount of counter uh, productive natural substances that exist in all the universe to combat anything like this society today, or any evil substances out there. For anybody to think otherwise are stuck in one of those counterproductive attributes in a current sense, in currency. They don't understand that egoism, egotism, and pride is self-destructive. They don't understand how devastating these hermetics, these karmic, these ironical, these counter, these how instant and immediate and intermediate these actions and energies are. They have absolutely no clue that it's happening to them. Some of them don't understand, so it is a mistake. But I mean, in terms of warfare, is that those people have so many angles in which they could be attacked. Just today, they have an immense amount of angles that they can be attacked from. Me, myself, and people of the light, people that are doing the right thing, that are all like full on to the right, like not even bleaching what we may believe isn't true, but everything we throw out the window that isn't true, and we going straight to the board with it, and we want to know everything down to the grain, and we want to help people for what's right, and everything in existence for what's right. There isn't a single angle that you have on those type of people, and those are the people of all existence. Well, that's the natural basis of every being in natural existence, due to their productive attitudes from an innocent basis. But once you understand and you mature, there's not a single. Once you understand and you know yourself, you know there isn't a single angle that you can attack those people from. Not even those people from innocence. You can't say I hate you, cloud. I hate you, tornado. I hate you, dust storm. Like, you can't say that, because those things are just innocence of elemental nature. You can't say that to a child, because the child don't know. You know what I'm saying? So just to collaborate with that. You know what I mean? Um, but there isn't a single angle that you can touch that person. So just say you in a scientific alchemic war, and a person knows his deal, his makeup, his creativity and his elements. You know, you're not. A fight is still a fight. A competition is still a competition. But you have no angles to attack that person from. Calling the people of the light, the people who are deceiving, they have so many angles that can be used to their advantage as well, but it's limited. It's limited thus from the truth of the true emanators, in which they know the actual truth. That means you're down to zero again. Once they know, this is why you're not taught certain sciences in school. Because once you understand the true sciences and the true over remedies in which you come from and who you are yourself, who are they to say anything else otherwise? All I need is dirt to plant food. I can make whatever I want my own and teach my children the same. We can have colonies and societies out the womb. You know, just a side note, I just witnessed children being born, well, from YouTube. I just realized that if you're on the wrong diet, if you're not eating naturally, a child can bearing a child can be pretty painful. But if you're eating naturally, that child is going to come right out of you, and there's not going to be much pain. If women knew that too, that's a tough one, you know. But just to continue on, I saw that. I saw as a child. I said, yo, I said, I think people, I think the people's belief in the, in depriving, in the depriving of the human being's morale is to get you to abide by only the systematic equation of virtues, and that's salary, like green money, food, currency. No, I also realized that when I'm busting jokes, you see how all of a sudden these cars came and I started busting jokes. My telekinetic just relayed with somebody else's mindset, and I just naturally act in accordance to how we would feel if we spoke with one another in the car and we were talking about the same thing. And energetically, I caught that energy here and I started to say those things. And I'm really trying to be serious. And that just happened. And then you see with some other cars, I have a little problem because they're stuck in another zone, another dimension in which they believe it's kind of night. It's night at times, and you catch this hex over you, and you have a feel of, you know, just like this one, you have an imminence of darkness, so to speak, but you can barely catch it if you're not really paying attention. But it's not like darkness is an evil. It's just he believes the time is nighttime. But you know, societally meaning like, you know, that was the meaning like being from nature. If we was out in our ordinary society, it'd just be what the sun just went down. You know, I mean, I gotta go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Just to also to add on to that, like I mentioned before, if the world took a certain amount of time to make our food, in order for us to maintain our survival on land, that means our bodies would be able to retain a duration of the amount of time a seed takes to grow into food for us to eat. And I remember I said this because I said it takes 7 days. They said you only have like 7 days to eat, or you die, or drink water, you die. But what is lunch? What is breakfast, lunch, and dinner? That's a man-made substance from this country, from so-called Western civilization. But I've been curing myself, and I just took this herb called the ombre grande, and it heals the acid in your stomach, and it cures it cleanses your blood cells. Now I've been taking steps, day by day and whatnot, and I kid you not, Yesterday I was out and I didn't eat my breakfast, but I didn't have that certain hunger pain in which I had. I've been trying to reach a certain stability in which I had back when I was living in the ghettos. I used to teach myself to not eat for a while, just to conserve food. And after a while, I stopped being able to do that. And I used to think to myself, like, man, I sure can hold my own for a while, but I still need food every once in a while. But I lost the ability to do that because I started getting hungrier because I had to do my independent research, and I started to have to eat anything out there after a while. So I started eating like trash, like trashy foods. But I also I ate a little bit out the trash too. But food is really food, anyways, and I'll gravitate towards that in a minute. But uh, that's how I found out that people was up there, sucking dick. Everybody was acting like there wasn't nobody having sex on college campus, and I'm up here eating people's leftover Panda Express, and it tastes like dick. So I'm like, just to be real, I'm serious. I'm like, oh, so nobody doing nothing up here? Okay, you know what I'm saying? But um, before I continue with that, like they had an ominous feel. So before I continue that, I've also realized that women are gravitating towards me more is because of my balance. Because what kind of man do women really love? They love heroes. They love real men of real character, real men of real morale. They love men of the light. You know what I'm saying? Women would give their children over to pastors and churches, just for an example. You know what I'm saying? Real men of the light. They really love evolutionary men. You know what I'm saying? So this walk, this path has not been in vain at all. It's solidified my knowledge in what I really know it to really be. And that is the true being in itself. It is appropriated completely with the attraction of everything that my male masculine figure should attribute by through the characteristics and who you're supposed to be, and that is the balance of evolutionary existence. You always grow, you always continue to grow and do the right things and emanate all the right things at all times. And even men will follow you then. They'll follow you to the ends of the earth. MLK. Every great man that has ever that we've had any recollection towards has always been that way with all men. And they will follow you to the ends of the earth. So I've also found comrades and men when I spoke, either in my mind or I spoke, they now side me because now that I've broken open this code and I'm talking to my ancestors and we're putting all these puzzle pieces together, they're saluting me now. And now I can't be swayed I can't be swayed by certain aspects and understandings of other people as well, because I know who I am. My honor is in with my honor is hold on, chilling. My honor is now knowing all for all, and I am processing for all things to 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 continue a great life. No, to enhance their lifestyle, to be greater, to teach them all the same things so they can do the same things, because it's all in it in it for all of us to behave in the same way. We all want to teach our descendants. We all want to teach our heirs. We all want to we all want to exalt our elders. We all want to grow ourselves in experiences in the right way. It's all science. It's all experience. It's all growth. These are the basis and foundation functions of our entire existence. And when you emanate these things, people gravitate towards you and they accept you because you are neutral. You are a neutral person. You are a neutral being, and you're doing the right thing. Why would anybody of that nature be afraid of anything otherwise? Even if it meant death, it's a celebration. Me going to my ancestors. I believe and I'm grateful that I know these things now, and I just only try to help because it is the right thing to do. It's not be without pride or ego or sloth or raven, sorrow. Have the courage to step up, stand up, and do the right thing, and you will live on forever. It's in your blood. And that's all anybody wants. Your children, I've seen babies look at me like I'm looking at a past resurrected relative or something. Like I've looked at, I don't want to go that hard, but I've looked at people before, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm talking to babies now. You know what I'm saying? That's happened to me once, but I'm not speaking on this particular event. It didn't happen that way. But, that's my ancestors kicking me because they told me to say that in the first place. But I have seen that before, and those type of deals do happen, and they just spoke to me in a way as well to let me know that that is also a huge possibility as well, and those things do happen because you are reborn anew, though that in that way too. Some people want to remember past lifetimes, and some people want to just be reborn. Get a choice. Get front seat sometimes when you do the right thing into being reborn again. So just like I got a couple of minutes left. Um, it's huge benefits to doing the right thing, but it's all in your blood. You just have to have courage. It's a part of growing. You know, uh, they've taken people's morale, taken great men out. Now men are afraid to be men. Women are afraid to be sexy. That's just what we do. But so I used to pay attention, and I was like, I said, oh, about the ombre grande. I missed breakfast and I didn't eat all day. I didn't eat all day. I didn't even have to eat that night, and I would have went to sleep happy. It was crazy. That was my first time. The day before was my first time taking the herb, and it was like I found the herb. It's like because it cures the herb ombre grande cures. He ain't got his license. Oh, his headlights on. His top lights on. The 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 herb ombre grande cures eating disorders. Of course, you got to stay on that diet. You got to keep trying with those herbs, but it cures anorexia and uh, eating diets. No, eating, eating dysfunctionalities. It cures that. So I ate it. It cured my acid, cured my blood and whatnot. And I was just sitting there, like I was just sitting there, I was just breathing. And I was like, I got hungry a little bit, and it was like for 2 seconds, and then it just went away. I was like, this is what I was talking about. If you don't know how to cure yourself, you don't know what food you eat, and you just grew up in a society eating all this food, and this is like super unoxidated. I mean, it's super oxidated. Like, it has no oxygen in it, so there's no oxygen getting to your brain. You tripping, you got dementia, people forming paralysis and Alzheimer's and all types of deals. You ain't gonna know what to do. People gonna keep getting diseases. People gonna keep being belligerent. This is where you're gonna get irritation. This is where you're gonna get crime from. This is where you can just throw people in the slammer because they don't know how to defend themselves. This is where you can gain huge profits off of people's health care and diets because they don't know. But I'm telling you, it does exist. All that information is correct. I'm gonna stop slanging my penis around because I told people I knew the truth, but now is the time for me to be humble and just let you know it is true. Those herbs are really out there. That science is really real, and I'm practicing it myself. And it's really true about heaven and hell. It's real true about your spirit and your morale. It's really true about knowing yourself and being balanced and having honor. It's really true, and it's fundamental in our existence. Go for it and really have that foundation of existence. This is why This is why men aren't really men until they have true honor. You cannot ignore people on the streets. You can't ignore corruptions in governments. You can't ignore Planned Parenthood. You can't ignore us being segregated, not being unified. This is a lack of not. This is a lack of. This would be a lack of honor. You're not having true honor. Women who act like they don't see people in help or need. You know, you're getting away from your feminine side. You're becoming less of a woman because we come from you. You know what I'm saying? This is where a woman be like, I just want that bag, or you know what I'm saying? A woman becoming more tough and more rowdy and being less feminine and less sexy. You know, she always got an attitude. You know, walking around with a skirt and her purse, and just all you hear is some heels. You know, but she don't want nobody to look at her because she's really mad. She don't like this world she in. You know what I'm saying? And she's just doing the best because she don't know. You know, some of you don't know, but it's also based off of the choices you make. We all need to step up and have honor in our elements, in our masculine and feminine energy, and as a people, and as a universe, as nature, as animals, and everything. We all need to step up and do the right thing so we can all entirely be whole again, so we can no longer be insecure about anything again, so we can all have security with each other. We need to we need to be the knowledge and really step forward and do these things. It's gotten so bad now, and people don't realize it. Is that I just came from the zoo, and it's like we don't even realize we have our own animals in cages. These are our animals. We got them in cages. We don't even realize it. We just go, hey, oh, we just see a lion. The lion just lying dabbing on the grass and stuff, like just sleep. And you know, cougars can't wait to get out. They naturally, as soon as they get out, they nigga, I'm biting whatever's around here. If I gotta be in a cage one more time, I'm like, get in the cage. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a breeze. They are not playing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these things, these animals really want to be free. They are natural beings. They do not belong in cages, just like we do. Like just like we don't. You know what I'm saying? I got one more minute. I got one more minute left. I'm actually gonna break it a little bit longer because I gotta express this point right here. But actually, I'm gonna stop this just to save face because I gotta make sure I get this part. So.